Well, no one would ever accuse Ben Courson of being well-adjusted. He's a guy who calls the American dream boring. A life of answering emails in an air-conditioned office, out of the question. Ben is the type of person who tries to feed his inner rebel, and he's proud of it.
Ben Courson gave his first message in 3rd grade, started a weekly home Bible study at age 16, and became a full-time pastor his senior year of high school. Today, he is the founder of Hope Generation and the host of a global TV and national radio program. His YouTube videos have inspired people from every walk of life. In his book, Optimisfits, Ben shares his personal struggles with depression and anxiety, how he found a way through them, and offers a message of hope for everyone.
And Ben Courson is here with us now, and we welcome you to the show. Nice to meet you.
So nice to meet you, Wendy.
So you were the All-American kid, you're the student body president, you're the homecoming king, is that right? Even the homecoming king?
Yeah, one homecoming crown. Yeah, it was fun.
And a star athlete, I might add that. What did you play?
I played basketball, but I led the league in technical fouls, which means I had a really bad temper problem. And we were the only Christian school in the league, so that wasn't the best witness ever.
Okay, well, you were still an athlete,
Yeah.
all these other accolades, and still you fell into deep, deep depression. What happened?
One of the reasons why I went into depression is because I actually became a pastor my senior year of high school.
Whoa.
So when I was 18 years old, I was helping teach at a mega church, and I felt the need to present an image to the world that wasn't who I truly am. So I felt like I had to be this super serious, somber saint who could never have fun. And I'm like a professional fun haver. I love to live for a living. Like, I believe the meaning of life is to enjoy the joy of being enjoyed by God.
Nice.
And so when I finally got to a place where I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to be joyful. I'm going to be childlike. I'm going to be who God made me to be. That's when the depression started getting lifted, actually.
Wow. Well, you know, we live in this wonderful country. There's a lot of prosperity. I mean, there's a lot of poverty too. But why do you think there's so much hopelessness?
Yeah, one of the reasons we're so hopeless today, sociological data and research shows us that Gen Z, Gen Y, millennials, post-millennials, and centennials are the #1 most depressed generation on record, partially because of social media.
Really?
So what a lot of social media does is, instead of trying to impact people, we're trying to impress people.
Yeah.
And so we compare our behind the scenes with other people's highlight reels at the wrong intervals. Like, I'm watching the most exciting part of someone else's day at the most boring moment in my own day. And so it's not surprising that there's one suicide every 40 seconds. There's 123 suicides a day in America alone. The suicide rate has increased by 25% nationally. I mean, antidepressants are the #1 best-selling prescribed pharmaceutical medication. We live in a nation built on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, yet we're stressed, depressed, distressed, and in debt. And actually, we consume more pills due to anxiety and depression in America than the rest of the world combined by 3 times over. So I refuse to let our planet sink into hopelessness, and that's why I'm like on a rampage to rebel against despair.
Well, first of all, I love the color of your book. Also, the title is called Optimisfit. That's a word you coined, Optimisfit. What does it mean?
It's a made-up word, and it means being an optimistic misfit. So if despair really has the run of the place and is the order of the day in our culture, we're going to rebel against that. So it's people who live with nonconformist, adventurous, childlike wonder, unapologetic Jesus joy. That's an optimistic misfit, an optimisfit.
I mean, I love that. You actually said that there were some people like Billy Graham, you would call him that.
Yeah.
Does that really fit?
I think so, because Billy Graham, he would like preach to alligators in a day. He really would when he was 18 years old. Before he was preaching to crusade-sized crowds, he was actually speaking to alligators.
I thought it was cows.
Well,
maybe it was alligators.
I mean, in his biography, it said alligators, but maybe cows were there too. And then ultimately, like, even in a day when the church hadn't awakened to the evils of racism, he would personally go tear down the segregation barriers. One of his volunteers actually quit on the spot because he refused to conform to the norms of the day. And I love his optimistic vibe in that way.
So, Ben, you say you're trying to transcend the church optimism out in the weeds. What does that mean? I
think sometimes the church can at times put Band-Aids on gaping wounds. So I don't believe it's just, smile and everything's going to get better. I don't think approaching life with this kind of plastic, winking your eye at suffering is going to solve the problem. What I'm after is heart surgery and really tackling the hard existential questions, and that's what I try to do in this book.
Now, for those who are struggling with depression, and you said you definitely went through that, or just general hopelessness, what do you recommend? What do you say to them?
One of the most important things that got me out of depression was a group of friends. Because if you want to go fast, you should go alone. If you want to go far, you should go together.
Right.
The way not to...
African proverb.
There you go. You know, you see it. And ultimately, we weren't called to isolate, pardon me. We were called to infiltrate. We weren't destined for solitude. We were meant for solidarity, to stand together.
Yeah.
So I always like to tell people the way not to give up is to squad up. Like Adventures with God, Adventures with Squad. That was one of the chief things that the Lord used to lift me out of this place of despair and the slough of despond.
Yeah, so how do you find a squad, though? What if you were sitting at home saying, I want a squad? I mean, how do you find a squad?
I believe your vibe attracts your tribe. And sometimes you have to risk vulnerability. You have to risk...
Wait a minute, I got to hashtag this. Your vibe attracts your tribe.
There it is. And sometimes you just have to risk the fear of being unknown. Like a lot of people, they think they want to disappear when what they really want is just to be found. And when you truly are who God intended you to be and you're not trying to hide it under some mask, you actually start to find there's a lot of people like you. And that's what I started discovering as well with the Optimisfits.
So how many people have watched your YouTube? I know we said at the beginning, like it was tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands have seen you. How does that feel to be, so young and to have such a big audience out there on social media?
Yeah, it's super cool. I don't take it very seriously. Like, I think taking a whole lot more things a whole lot less seriously actually makes it a lot more joyful, and just realizing so many of these things are ephemeral and transitory. So I'm just enjoying it. I'm having fun, but I don't take myself that seriously, I guess. And that way I can just speak into people's lives in a more authentic way rather than trying to, be some overly spiritual pastor. I'm just trying to talk hope into people's lives.
Well, we are so excited that you're here on the show. We love your book, and Ben shares much more in his brand new book, Optimisfits, Igniting a Fierce Rebellion Against Hopelessness. And it's available in stores nationwide. And don't forget, Ben is our featured speaker in today's campus chapel service. You don't want to miss that. You can join us, just stream it by going online to cbn.com, and that's at noon Eastern. And what are you going to be talking about, by the way?
I'm going to be talking about hope. Big surprise.
Yes.
It's cool. In the Old Testament, the Hebrew word for hope refers to being knitted. So it's not like loosey-goosey. It's knitted to ultimate reality. It doesn't unravel when our circumstances do. Yeah. So I'm going to tell people that your hope is not dictated by your circumstances. Yeah. When your hope is put in God, your circumstances will be dictated by your hope. So we're going to delve into the deeps of that today.
I'm going to be there. God bless you.
You're awesome, Wendy. You're very good at what you do. Thank you for having me.
I'll shake your hand.
You're awesome.
Thank you, sir.